On this edition, I'm going to break down and predict the upcoming fight at UFC 152 between Jon Jones and Vitor the Phenom Belfort. So, UFC 151's been scrapped. I'm not going back to that. I'm not revisiting that subject. Jones obviously didn't fight Sonnen. UFC 151 was canceled. We're past it. Okay, move on. That's the best way I can put it. So. We thought it would be Lyoto Machida that would be fighting Jon Jones at UFC 152. He didn't take the fight. And I think if you were to put 5 names in a hat of fighters you would actually expect to be fighting if it wasn't Machida, you would have not picked Vitor Belfort. What I'm doing this video, I'm just going to break down both fighters. I'm going to do my predictions. So I'll start with Jon Jones. Now, what cannot be said about Jon Jones? I think I've said this in every single video about Jon Jones, is what cannot be said about the guy is that really he's answered every single question or anything in regards to his skill set. Okay, this isn't about what happened at UFC 151. This is his skill set, and it's just he continues to evolve as a mixed martial artist and as a fighter. It's just he continues to answer the call. He continues to defeat fighters in decisive, devastating fashion. It's just that's what he has been doing. So in the stand-up department, it's his Muay Thai, it's his boxing, it's kickboxing. He has the luxury of having probably the longest reach in mixed martial arts, 84.4-inch reach. He has a longer reach than light heavyweights, than heavyweights, you name it. It's just he has that luxury. It's not so much he just has a long reach and he fights. It's just he fights his reach effectively too. Is that he doesn't allow people to get inside, and when they do, he backs away with his good footwork. He doesn't allow himself to get in bad situations. If he's caught, he backs right out. He circles about and he gets out of the bad situation. He's a smart stand-up fighter and he fights his reach effectively. So in the stand-up department, he throws his hands well. He's got good hand speed. He's got good footwork. He's got good head movement. Smart fighter. And he throws a good 1-2. He throws his leg kicks. He's very dynamic. It's just he'll sit outside the pocket, then the next second he's forward. He's throwing a flying knee in your face. There's a perfect balance between sitting outside in your range and popping forward in the pocket, and he's out before he can be in any sort of trouble. So he really controls the pace and where he wants to be in the pocket or outside the pocket, you name it. Just he picks where he wants to be, and it's not so much one strike knockout power. It's not that. And I'm not doubting Jon Jones. I'm sure he can knock guys out, but it's almost like his strikes, everything has a purpose. I think that's the best way to put it, is that he's got good leg kicks. He likes to pick people apart. He likes to throw down your initial first step. Then he's going to change levels on you. He's going to throw his hands. He's going to throw elbow. You never know what to expect from Jon Jones, is that he's constantly keeping you guessing with his strikes. It's either you're sitting outside and he's picking you apart, being smart. Then he's forward in your face, throwing an elbow. He has you in the clinch. He's tossing you down to the ground. It's just everything has a purpose with Jon Jones. One punch knockout power, not so much. I mean, he has knocked out guys before, but I mean, maybe we'll see it sometime soon in the octagon. So in regards to it, leads into his clinch game, is that with his Greco background, I mean, and his wrestling background, if Jon gets you in the clinch, I mean, he throws knees, throws strikes, separates with elbows, but he can toss you down to the ground. He can slam you. Has a good double. He has a good single. He's explosive. I mean, he's blessed with the given ability of athleticism. He has a good athleticism. He does everything so fast. When he gets you down the ground, I mean, it's his long body, his long legs. It's very hard to get out from under him. He advances guard at will. He has good ground control and ground and pound. Like posturing up and ground and pound is Jon Jones' bread and butter. You could talk as much as you want about his developing striking game and all that, but Jon's wrestling and his ground and pound, his submission game, I think that's the best part of his game. It's very hard to deal with. It's a handful, as you would call it. Posture up, rain down, ground and pound. He demoralizes you. It's not easy to get out from under him. He's going to beat you down. He's going to try and lock you in his submission game. You can't put a belt on Jon Jones. It's just he's got great submission skills. He has good submission defense. We really haven't seen him in a vulnerable situation or have his back against the wall. But he's a human vs. flytrap with his long arms, his ground and pound. And obviously, a couple things about Jones. I mean, obviously the reach advantage. He's just the more dynamic fighter in this fight, good submission ability. But we haven't seen Jon's back against the wall, really. We saw Lyoto kind of give him a good first round, but then obviously Jon finished that fight. I'd like to see what Jon could do when his back is against the wall or when he's faced with adversity. We haven't seen much of it. Is his chin tested? I mean, you could talk about significant strikes all you want. He has been caught with strikes, but has he been in an all-out war? No, Jon is not, but his chin has taken the strikes. But that makes significant strikes. I mean, I'd like to see what happens if Jon is to have his back against the wall. I think that's the biggest question. So where I see Jon Jones being successful in this fight, I think he could keep it standing. He could try and try and pick his spots with Vitor Belfort, but I think it's about weathering the storm. Vitor Belfort likes to finish his fights early on. in the earlier rounds. A lot of them come in the first round. He's got to weather the storm. I think keep it standing, but I think if he's going to fight this one smart, which he most definitely does, get this fight down the ground, use your wrestling, use your ground and pound. I think Jon Jones can most definitely win this fight via TKO or knockout, via ground and pound, or, very well could be a long reach submission. I think he's got to get this one down to the ground, utilize his wrestling. I think that's the strongest thing. He has the better wrestling, he has the better ground game in this fight. And I know it's saying a lot against Vitor Belfort. He's got a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but he's got the better ground game. So I could see Jon utilizing his ground and pound and his ground game and finishing this fight. I see Jon finishing this fight against Vitor Belfort. So that's where I see Jon Jones being successful. So Vitor the Phenom Belfort. Vitor's game he brings to the table. His boxing, the Phenom himself, he was renowned as this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but his hand speed and his boxing, it's no joke. Okay, Vitor's speed is no joke. His hand speed, his footwork, his knockout power, all of them complement each other. He comes out swinging for the fences in the early round. He likes to pick his spots. I want to say he's a smart striker, but Vitor goes for the kill. That's exactly what he does. And if anybody could get inside strikes, obviously Machida was able to get inside Jones' strikes with his speed and obviously his dynamic striking. But does Vitor have the dynamic striking that Lyoto Machida does? No, but he does possess the speed to do so. And Vitor likes to pop inside. He likes to get inside people's strikes and their reach and get inside the pocket. He likes to hit with bad intentions. He can throw his 1-2. He likes to throw hooks, uppercuts, you name it. He commits forward with heavy strikes, and he follows with multiple strikes. He throws in combinations. He throws with volume. And once he smells blood in the water, Vitor goes for the kill. That's exactly what he does. He likes to finish fights. I think it's 11 of his fights. Out of 15 of his knockouts, 11 of them have come in the first round. His ground game, he's got a black belt in Judo. He's got a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's good in the clinch, but are you willing to mess with it or flirt with it against a wrestler like Jon Jones? That's the biggest question. He's got pretty good takedown defense, and he's aggressive off his back. He's got a good guard. He's good at getting up off his back, but once again, you're dealing with a wrestler like Jon Jones who has good ground control. Do I see Vitor getting a submission off his back? No, I think that's a very, very tall task. If anything, he'll find success in the stand-up game. But once again, Vitor can submit guys. He just won't submit Jon Jones. And once again, he's at a huge reach disadvantage in this fight. Everybody's at a reach disadvantage against Jon Jones. But he does have knockout power. He does have the speed to at least make it interesting with Jon Jones, at least in the first couple of rounds. And he does technically have an energy jump. Vitor finds a success in the first couple of rounds, or the first round itself. Where I see Vitor being successful, there's no myth to this. You can't take a decision. You can't outpoint Jon Jones. You can't turn into a grappling match. He's got to try and finish Jon Jones in at least the first round or the second round and try and let the hands go, and you got to test that chin of Jon Jones. And we've seen Vitor's chin get tested before. I think if Jon's the catch Vitor, I think he can most definitely TKO or knock him out. I've said this already, but I think there's no myth to this. Vitor needs to finish this fight, and he's got to finish it with his hands. That's the best way. That's the way it's got to be done. So that's where I see Vitor Belfort being successful. So where my prediction lies, and once again, hats off to Belfort. He's an outstanding fighter. He's a legend of the game. He's got good boxing. He could make it interesting for the first couple of rounds, but I think Jon Jones will weather the storm. I think he's going to make it out of the first round. I think he's going to find a way to defeat Vitor Belfort. I think he's going to stand up with him, but I think he's ultimately going to take this fight down to the ground. He's going to utilize his ground and pound, his ground control. He's going to find a way to finish Vitor Belfort within the 5 rounds. He's going to finish this fight via ground and pound, via TKO. That's how I see it. Jon Jones is going to take Vitor Belfort down. He's going to control him on the ground. He's going to beat him down via elbows, strikes, you name it, and finish him via TKO. And retain his title as the light heavyweight champion. So I'll take Jon Jones defeating Vitor Belfort UFC 152 via TKO, ground and pound. And that's what I have for this edition.